Well, I found this ranking on Twitter. Something quickie from Africans. As I said, these rankings I always do is not a competition between African countries, but it's actually letting you guys know how better your countries are doing in the 54 continents. In the 54 country continents. Okay, how better your countries are doing in the 54 country continents. Don't get me wrong with the competition here. There's no competition. Just know how other African countries are doing concerning your country, so that you can also hold your government accountable for some failures or applaud them for some achievements too. But Africa still need better to do though. Okay, so but don't get it twisted here. So let's see this. Today's ranking is from African Fact Zone, and we are going to discuss about Africa's best healthcare system. So number 1 is South Africa. South Africa is said to have the Africa's best healthcare system. Number 2 is Kenya. Number 3 is Tunisia. Number 4 is Algeria. Number 5 is Nigeria. Number 6 is Egypt. Number 7, Morocco. Yep, these are the African countries with the top best healthcare system. Number 1 is South Africa, number 2 Kenya, number 3 Tunisia, number 4 Algeria, number 5 Nigeria, number 6 Egypt, and number 7 Algeria. So the source to this information by the African Fact Zone people is Numboi's 2023 Healthcare Index. That is their source. Their source is Numboi's 2023 Healthcare Index. You can actually check it out and see some more interesting facts about this. But when I saw this on X, formerly Twitter, and it was shared by African Fact Zone, I decided to check about something because the latest one here is 2023 one. Okay, so I checked it on Google to see the best African health system in Africa. So this is what Google told me. So they says I searched best African health system. So they says countries with the highest healthcare index in Africa 2019-2023. By country in 2023, South Africa had the highest healthcare index in Africa with a score of 63.5, followed by Kenya with 61.5 points. These scores for both countries are considered to be reasonably high. So they share this by Africa Healthcare Index 2023 by Statista. So don't forget this. So that means the ranking that the African Fact Zone people do was the latest one, because it's the 2023 ranking, and the same thing Google is also saying. Okay, 2023 ranking is the latest. Don't forget, we are not done with the 2024 yet. So I actually went to the Statista page to see what actually they are talking about. So they says countries with the highest healthcare index in Africa from 2019-2023 by a country. So number 1 is South Africa here. Number 2 is Kenya. Number 3 is Tunisia. Algeria being number 4, Nigeria being number 5, number 6 is Egypt, and then number 7 is Morocco. So these countries here are said to have the best healthcare system in Africa from 2019 to 2023, right? So the 2024 or the latest one, these are the latest one. Hopefully the 2024 we have something new to discuss and see how these countries are still doing concerning their healthcare system. But after the comment section too, as an African, let me see what you think about these comments. How do you see your fellow various African countries, hospital and hospitality? And if your country is also listed here, do you believe this list, and why don't you believe this list? Let me know in the comment section too. So at the statistics report, it says in 2023 South Africa had the highest healthcare index in Africa with a score of 63.5, followed by Kenya with 61.5 points. These scores for both countries are considered to be reasonably high. So it says the healthcare index takes into account factors such as overall quality of the healthcare system, healthcare professionals, equipment, staffs, doctors, and costs. Notice the criteria or the list they use to make this ranking by these countries. They say this is it. The healthcare index takes into account factors such as the overall quality of the healthcare system. That is 1. Number 2 is healthcare professionals. That is 2. Number 3 is equipment. Number 4, the staffs. Number 5, the doctors. And lastly, the cost in healthcare system in these African countries. That is how come they rank these countries to be your top 7 best healthcare system in Africa. Namely, South Africa being number 1, number 2 being Kenya, number 3 being Tunisia, number 4 being Algeria, Nigeria number 5, Egypt number 6, and Morocco number 7. Don't forget this. The North African countries had 5 representatives, Southern had one, and the Western had one, and then Eastern also had one. So that means the North African had 4 representatives, sorry, and then Eastern had one, that is Kenya. Southern had one, that is South Africa, and then West Africa had one, that is Nigeria. But there's no Central African here. Hopefully, what's happening to these people? Hopefully, they have something to talk about this later. Well, this comment says, amazing. I've not been to other countries, so I can't say it's true or not. But for Nigeria to be number 5 or more, other countries below must really be using plastics to give injections. Aha! What do you mean, man? What do you mean, my Nigerian brother? Why are you saying that? It's impressive. I have not been to a lot of these African countries, so but if Nigeria is top 5 in Africa, then that means the others are below this list are using plastic for injections. Why should you say this, bro? Why should you say this? Ghana is not on the list. Don't do this to us. Don't throw shots here. This one also says, I'm sure Kenya bribed its way to the number 2 on the list. Another person also says, for South Africa, were you focusing on private healthcare system? Because if you focus on public, the list will be fraud. So I also noticed something with this comment section. People were actually, or most of the countries that were listed on this list were actually doubting that their country actually made this list. Mostly Nigerians, Kenyans, and South Africans. But what made you guys still think that your country don't deserve to be on the list? Let me know in the comment section. Do you agree to these South Africans, these Nigerians, or these Kenyans saying that they are surprised to see Kenya being on this list? Let me know what you think in the comment section, and let's have some quick discussion about this too. So I was here to discuss Africa's top or Africa's best healthcare system, where South Africa was topping the list together with Kenya, Tunisia, Algeria, Nigeria, Egypt, and then Morocco. And we have in 1 West African country, 1 Eastern African country, 1 Southern African country, and 4 Northern African countries. The North Africans are actually doing great. Big shout out to them, and big shout out to any country who was actually listed here, because health is wealth. We really need to have the health of Africans at heart. So our government actually improve our healthcare system for us, so that we can actually live healthy and long to see Africa prosper someday. Wouldn't that be beautiful? My name is Rashi, and this was African Time. Thank you for your time.